Hey there, I just want to say yoga can be for everyone. However, it is your responsibility to determine if you are ready and able to perform this workout video. If you or a family member have a history of heart disease, high blood pressure, or are obese with any physical or medical condition that could be aggravated by a physical activity, please consult a physician before proceeding. If you are pregnant, also consider consulting a physician. If you have any history of injury such as neck, back, shoulder, or knee, please proceed with caution and stop immediately if you feel any pain, lightheadedness, or nausea. The user assumes all risks. Thanks, and I'll see you on the mat. Hey everyone, I got a question for you, or more of a request. Ask me if I'm a tree. Duh, I'm not a tree silly, only when I do yoga. I hope you laughed at that joke, or if you didn't and thought it was stupid, that's okay too, because I hope I reached some of you who know that my favorite joke of all time is the ask me if I'm a tree joke. So, moving on to today's topic, which is more about trees, our yoga tree. I'm going to be breaking down how to safely do this posture and make it accessible for everybody. So, it's a classic tree pose. All our standing postures are really the foundation for everything else that has to come. So starting with mountain pose, that is the mother of all poses. And from this, we grow here, all right? So what we're gonna do for tree pose is I'm gonna go through each section of the body. Feel free to try along with me. It's probably something you've seen before, but otherwise first I am going to demonstrate, and then we will break it down. So ta-da, tree pose with arms to be talked about. So first things first is our legs through our feet. What you're gonna do is which leg you're gonna stand on, you wanna first ground that foot down on the earth at 12 o'clock. So foot forward and all four corners. So we've talked about this before. Remember, we've got a platform that is all of this on our foot, not our toes. Pretend like we don't have toes, they're there just for balance. But we have this huge platform down here that we really want to be pressing out of. We don't want to grab those toes, because if we're grabbing them, then we are grabbing with our hip, and we don't want that, okay? It hurts. I did it for a while and I learned my lesson, so please don't do it. Make sure that when you're pressing down, your toes are reaching, lengthening, and spreading, creating more of just like a fan cover base instead of down, okay? So just catch yourself if you notice yourself doing that. Next, it is going to be lengthening up that standing leg. So you want to be extending over this knee. You don't want it to be locked out, but it is slightly locked in there with the extension of the muscle in the leg. Okay, so it is going up our center line, okay? And so this is where the metaphor that I like to picture when I'm in this is like a string running through your body, going up to the metaphorical ceiling. So we want to be on this string as straight as possible, all right? But not only that, so we're extending up that, but also when we reach this leg up and in, the lifted one, we want to be pressing in. So I'll explain that a little bit more here. So our lifted foot, there's many locations you can bring it to and you can explore it and try. So first things first is down on the earth here. So we've got our toes kind of kickstand with the foundation of our foot pressing in gently on the ankle, but more as a standing thing to kind of get our sea legs, see if we can move a little bit higher, if our hips allow us in our balance and our ability, okay? It takes time to build up. So the next would be on the inner calf, below the knee, okay? And this is when we can really start pressing, okay? And if you come up here after going on the earth and you're like, ooh, this might be a little bit much, another middle ground here, modification, we're gonna do them throughout this time, is to bring a block in and use that to stand on so that your leg is lifted. We're extending this front hip muscle a little bit more by having the knee out a little bit more because our leg is bent a little bit more, okay? But still we have that foundation earth to balance on while we build our balancing abilities. So that's just one modification there. Otherwise, it's on the calf, beginning that pressing in the center sensation, or hips allowing, bringing the leg up to the inner thigh and nestling it in this like kind of crook right below your pubis region, okay? So I have this because I have big thighs. You might not have like a little nook here. You might just have a flat thigh or something. That's okay. Just press on the center line there, creating that seal, that sensation, that pressure that helps to stabilize and balance us, okay? So this leg is obviously opening up, okay? But this is also dependent on the shortness or length in our hip muscles, our inner thigh, and so on and so forth. So if you're not quite all the way open yet, it's still a little bit forward, that is okay. You're working to get it open. The more important thing here is that your hips are even, okay? So you want them square. If you notice when you bring this foot up and you plant it, that you're like this, okay, that's not going to fly. You need to notice that by placing your hands on your hips first and adjusting them down. So respect that each side might be a little bit different, might be a little shorter, harder for you to balance, so on and so forth. That's okay, okay? That's just our bodies. So keeping the hips even, pressing them down, that helps create that more central pressing sensation. So we want our hips square, our legs pressing in, our tailbone slightly tugging under with our pubic bone pulling up and in. So again, up that center line, up that string, okay? So legs are foundation. They are everything in this pose. So really take your time getting in, okay? That way, when you get in, you can really do the extra bits with the rest of your body. So moving on into your core belly region. Your belly should be engaged. It should be drawn in, glued to the spine, and lengthening you up. Okay, so you want it in, and you want to be reaching tall with the spine, up through the chest. Our pecs are slightly lengthening here, but it's still shoulders stacked over hips. Okay, then arms wherever you like, whatever speaks to you. First things first is prayer. It helps mimic that internal pressure sensation. You know, press them together, keeping the shoulders down, shoulder blades down and back the body, stabilizing as the center. But as we grow, if we want to reach our arms, reaching our center of gravity a little bit higher, challenging our balance, we can do that. But remember, keep those shoulders down, relaxed away from the ears, shoulder blades plugged into the back bodies to stabilize the shoulder joint and our positioning. So spread those fingers. You can reach them to the horizon. You can lace them behind the back, opening the chest, doing multiple things at once. That's tree, okay? Another variation that you might see when you eventually build into it is tree with side bend. So this is not super duper easy, but you can totally do it wherever you are. So if your foot is down here still on the block, you can still do this side bend. So arms are up, and then bend over the pressing leg gently, reaching out that length in the side body, more at the like diagonal, the corner of the room. So with bending in yoga, it's not as much bending, even though we say that, it's still lengthening and reaching out of that side body instead of just crunching over and crunching our body. We want to lengthen. We are fighting gravity every day, so that's what you're going to do. Now, if your leg is up, this is obviously going to be more challenging. You really need to build that foundation pressing in, and then after you've done a flow, you're warmed up a little bit, you can eventually work towards this side bend sensation. So, boom. And make sure to do the other side. Even if you try it on one side, maybe you want to try it the other side with your leg a different way. See if you like it a little bit differently. I'm going to try leg on the calf. And then again, reaching, keeping the gaze on one spot. Keeping one at a fixed spot will help you balance. I promise, I promise, I promise. Do that and focus on your breath. So that is the balance. That is the balance of yoga, not just in balance poses, is creating this balance of effort and ease to be able to stay in dynamic stillness, working the body, working the breath, working everything, all the good stuff. So that is tree pose. I hope you felt my excitement. I love this pose. I do it I used to do it in the coffee line before COVID, but it might be something you could still do socially distanced. Now I wouldn't feel as weird about doing this right next to people in line, but if you want to do that, this is a great way for you to work your core and work your body any time of the day, okay? You can just add this. If you have a standing desk, you're awesome. I'm jealous that you have a standing desk. You can do that. Tree pose is for everyone. And so that's it. I hope you liked this pose breakdown today. Let me know if you did. Give me a like, subscribe, comments, questions. I can't wait to hear more from you all. Otherwise, I will see you next time on the mat for a flow or for another pose breakdown. Have a beautiful week and namaste.